do have Coach Tommy Tuberville from Cincinnati on the line, so we'll get started with Cincinnati. Cincinnati is 3-1 overall, had an open date this past week. Cincinnati is in action this week at USF on Saturday. It will be a 7 p.m. start and will be on ESPN3. Coach, thanks so much for joining us on the call. And I know it's been a very emotional week for you, so please tell us what how your week has been and what you look forward to as you get back on the field to face USF, please.
Yeah, it's been a tough and tragic week for Cincinnati Bearcats. We had an open date last week, but we had a terrible tragedy of 2 people killed, and one a football player, the other one his best friend, and then we had 2 football players hurt, one still in serious condition. It's hard to imagine that life goes by so quick and things change so quickly, but that's something that we had to deal with, and it's been very tough, obviously, on the players and all the families involved. So it's probably good that we had an open date. Now we're coming back, and after that week, getting ready for our first conference game. It's something that you practice all year long for to get ready for conference play. We're going on the road. We didn't play very well in our last outing in terms of offense. We had a very off game, but defensively probably played the best game I've ever been involved in. And so we got the victory. We're 3-1. Had a week off, and now it's time to get into conference play. Questions?
Hey, questions for Coach Tuberville, please. Hit *1 on your telephone to join the queue, and then the operator will introduce you.
We'll go first to Paul Doyle with the Hartford Courant.
Coach, I'm wondering what your relationship with Paul Pasqualone is over the years, and kind of what your reaction was to his firing today.
Well, I've known Paul a long time. He and I have kind of come up in the business together, coached against each other. When I was at Auburn, we played Syracuse, and spoke at a lot of clinics with Paul. Very good football coach, very good teacher of the game, student of the game. Went off to pro football for a while, but came back, and I don't know the situation there, and I would not guess, but I hate to lose him as a coach in our profession and a coach in our conference. It's just hard to imagine after 4 games there's a change, but sometimes those things happen.
Okay, thank you, Coach.
Moving on to Joey Knight with the Tampa Bay Times.
Coach, I almost feel guilty to ask a football question because football pales in comparison to what y'all gone through, but just looking at USF defensively, it seems like they're struggling to get to the passer from a defensive standpoint. What do you see when you look at USF's defense?
Well, they look a lot like us. They're a 4-man front, and you can tell they're struggling at times, as we are, with new schemes, new coaches, the transition. And transition's always hard on offense and defense and special teams. Whether you're running the same things you ran the year before, there's different techniques and fundamentals. The one thing I do notice about South Florida is they play hard, and as long as you play hard, you're going to continue to get better. That's what we've told our players. We go out each week and we work on fundamentals, and we try to go out and execute better the next week. Some we've done, some we hadn't, but it's they've got good players on the team that love to play the game. You can tell they have a passion for the game. It just things haven't clicked for them yet. And fortunately for us, we've been able to make things happen a little bit more often than they have. But their schedule's been tough. It's been a tough road for them. But it's their first conference game. It's a new season for both of us, and I'm sure we'll go down and play a different football team. They got a new quarterback that they stuck with last week, along with a very good running back. So that makes your defense better when you can run the ball and you've got more consistency on offense. We felt the same things here with new quarterback, new running backs, and a lot of new players on the offensive side.
And just a quick follow-up. Where's your team at emotionally? Is it good for them to get out and play a football game now?
It's this one's been different. I've been around tragedies on college football teams in many years that I've been involved in it. And this one was multiple, and then we still got one that's in serious condition, very serious condition. And so there's still thoughts of him and, of course, of Ben Flick, the young man, and the other young man that passed away. So it's been a different challenge for all of us, not just as players but as coaches, knowing that we've got a young kid that's struggling every day to make it. So I've really not known how to handle this, even though I've been in this business 36 years and went through several deaths on football teams, and when I coach in the high school level and the college level as an assistant and the college level as a head coach. This is different because there's too much. There's a lot of uncertainty that's still left out there. So I think our players have done a good job considering what they've gone through. They're still 18, 19 years old. Most of them facing a death pretty much in your team family for the first time, and been around it, and then seen things linger with the other young men in the hospital. So I learn every day, and there's no right or wrong way to approach this. It's just you got to understand the situation and accept it, because this is life. This is life at its worst, I would call it.
Thanks, Coach.
Tim Groshen with the Cincinnati Enquirer has the next question.
Hey, Coach. Again, I guess a little bit about football. I was struck by your comment there about the best defensive game you've ever been involved in, which says a lot of some of the places you've been. You've played, I think, 3 good games defensively out of 4. Is the offense kind of still finding its way, or maybe assess where you stand on both sides of the ball a little bit?
Yeah, I think offense, we're still struggling. We've got like 6 new players on the offensive side of the ball that hadn't played much, new starters. And then we had the transition from one quarterback that got hurt in the second game, knee injury in months ago. And then now our second starter, Brandon Kay, has taken over, which had a very good game against Northwestern. But for some reason, things did not click for us in the Miami of Ohio game. So a lot of uncertainty. We would hope to have played better. But as I said earlier, when you give up 88 yards in the first half on defense and 1 yard total the second, I've never been around that. I've been around some good defenses. Taking Miami of Ohio is running the option offense, and their passing game great, but we were able to shift gears and play a totally different offense and play pretty well defensively. And as I told our players, that's hard to do from playing a lot of spread teams, and then you shift to playing pretty much a running team that had an open date. They ran a lot of different things that we hadn't seen, and we adjusted well to it. So I was proud defensively. Now, it's going to be hard. We'll play a lot better offenses as we start this week. So, we're not going to pat ourselves on the back too quickly on defense, because we've got a lot of young players playing over there too. But it's, we're still looking for the perfect game. I don't know whether you ever find it when all 3 of your phases of your game click. But we've got a lot of room for improvement and much work to do, and we tried to do as much as we could last week. But now it's time. It's here. Conference season is here, and we can forget about those first 4. They didn't count. The next 8 do in terms of conference. So we got to be ready to go. We'll play a team down at South Florida on their home field this week that will play with a different attitude, as we will, because of playing in conference.
Anything else, Tom?
No, thank you.
You're welcome. And our next question will come from Brandon Folsom with SB Nation.
Hi, Coach. I understand it was a pretty difficult weekend for you, but I was wondering if you saw what P.J. Fleck in Western Michigan did for you to show support of the team and the family. I know Coach wore a armband from UC, and he also had a patch on his jacket.
I thought that was a great gesture, and I heard from them during the week, and they sent some oaring paddles to keep paddling hard that were signed by their entire team. Gave one to the family of Ben Flick, and they sent one here to our football team. I'm sitting there looking at them. That was a great gesture. And, I heard from coaches from all over the country, and I know how hard and busy coaches are this time of year. We've got cards, we had flowers sent. It just shows you we're all in this together. This is a game that we play, but what happened last week is about life. It's about life and how fragile it is. And coaches are very passionate. They're very passionate about their game, about kids, and we all grew up. That's the reason we're in this business. It's not about coaching football. It's about coaching older kids, 18, 19-year-olds, that are actually still kids. They're not adults. And so it's hard to put in perspective of what all this is about. But, I do appreciate all the coaches and all the players across the country sending their well wishes to hear all of us here at Cincinnati, and to the Flick family, and to the family of the young man that was an athlete that got killed. It's been heartwarming.
Thanks, Coach.
Moving on to Joey Johnston with the Tampa Tribune.
Yeah, Tommy, Willie Taggart's getting underway at South Florida. Hasn't been able to win a game yet, and not gone nearly the way he wanted to. And you know how it is in coaching when you lose some games. There's a toxic atmosphere out there, particularly in 2013, to deal with. How does a coach get through that, and how difficult is it? When you're trying to get your first win, it's not going well, and you're just, there's noise in the system, as Ron Zook used to say.
Willie's won games on a different level. He understands what he's doing. He's running a very good offense and defense. He's got good coaches, and sometimes things happen like that. The transitions are hard. They're very hard. People don't realize the different personalities are coaching, different things are taught, different things you're asked of, and and you can tell it's taken a toll. But the one thing I've noticed in the 4 weeks is they've stuck with what they've done from day one, and they've gotten better. It hadn't shown, and of course they played one of the better teams in the country last week, and so that's something you disregard. I mean, they were outmanned, and that happens. I've been in many of those games over the years, and their players fought hard and fought back and never quit. And that's what Willie's trying to get done. That's what I'm trying to get done. We're not a great football team. We're a team that's taken it on the chin in one away game, but we understand what we want to do, and our players are buying into it, and their players are buying into it. You can tell they've gotten better, and they look like they're having fun, but it's no fun to lose. They put in many hours of work, and they'll have a good team, and it could start this week. You just never know when that thing's going to break open. So, but it's just one of those things that happens in our business when you have transition.
Thanks, Coach.
Coach, we thank you for the time this week, and please know that the conference and its staff are keeping you in your thoughts and prayers as well. So we appreciate the time this week, and good luck.
Thank you very much.
All right,
Thank you.
That is Cincinnati at USF, 7 p.m. on ESPN3.